Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into a truly critical topic. GIS-driven compliance for emergency planning and response. Local governments are constantly navigating this maze of complex regulations during emergencies. And without the right tools, managing disaster risk, allocating resources, getting vital public communication out there, well, it can quickly become overwhelming. So our mission for this deep dive is clear. We're exploring exactly how geographic information systems, GIS, can be leveraged to meet those crucial regulatory compliance requirements. That's at the state, local, and federal levels for emergency planning, active response, and even long-term recovery. We'll uncover how GIS tools support really everything from mapping hazard zones to real-time incident response, and even streamlining that post-disaster recovery with crucial bodies like FEMA.
And to give you that truly informed perspective, our insights come directly from a powerful source. It's a recent webinar transcript featuring experts from Esri, Samsara, and Compass.com. We'll be connecting the dots across their diverse viewpoints, showing you how these technologies really come together in practice.
Okay, so we've set the stage with the sheer complexity, but how does GIS actually begin to untangle that knot for emergency services? What is it bringing to the table that's so crucial?
Fundamentally, think of GIS not as just drawing maps, but as almost like a living, breathing digital brain for your city. It connects everything to its physical location. It provides the geographical intelligence needed to understand complex, dynamic scenarios by spatially connecting diverse data sets. This is the subtle but, well, profound shift that moves us from reacting to disasters to predicting and proactively mitigating them.
Proactively, right.
And it's crucial for meeting regulatory compliance at every level, state, local, federal. It underpins everything from accurate disaster risk assessment and mapping specific hazard zones to vital evacuation planning and enabling real-time emergency response on the ground.
And it doesn't stop once the immediate danger has passed, does it? How does GIS continue to play a role in that longer-term recovery phase, especially with, the complexities of FEMA reporting?
Oh, absolutely. GIS streamlines reporting and post-disaster recovery efforts to ensure compliance with FEMA. It transforms what could be an incredibly chaotic process into something much more organized, auditable even.
That's huge.
And what's particularly insightful here is that Esri offers what they call ArcGIS solutions. These are basically industry-specific configurations tailored to common organizational needs.
Prepackaged, almost.
Sort of, yeah. They fit the entire emergency management lifecycle: preparedness, response, recovery, and mitigation.
Yeah.
And this framework is highly adaptable, which makes you wonder, how does it tackle specific real-world challenges on the ground?
Right, because theory is one thing, but how are these powerful solutions actually translating into boots-on-the-ground impact? Especially mentioned with cutting-edge tools like AI, where does that fit in?
Well, the integration of AI is truly transforming the speed and accuracy of these operations.
Yeah.
It's pretty remarkable. We're seeing geo-AI tools being developed for predictive modeling, classification, feature extraction.
Like what specifically?
For instance, detecting damage or classifying buildings directly from imagery after an event. Beyond that, AI assistants are improving efficiency. Things like building map-based surveys with just a simple prompt in Survey 123.
Survey 123, that's the mobile app, right? For field data collection.
Exactly. Makes it incredibly easy for anyone in the field to collect precise, location-tagged data. Very user-friendly. There's even functionality now to automatically blur license plates or faces in captured field imagery for privacy protection.
That's important. Okay, let's focus on a really practical example you mentioned. Esri's new wildfire protection planning solution. What does it actually do?
Right, so this solution is designed to help both GIS analysts and firefighters directly. Two sides of the coin. For the analysts, it offers structured tasks to prepare data. That includes using AI to detect buildings from high-resolution imagery.
Okay, finding the structures.
Precisely. And it also helps in downloading wildland urban interface data, WUI data, to see which structures are situated in those high-risk wildland ember or ignition zones.
That WUI data sounds critical. The interface between development and wildland?
It's absolutely critical. It tells you exactly where human development meets wildland vegetation, highlighting those high-risk areas.
And then there's the Analyze Wildfire History task. How does looking back actually transform future planning? What's the key breakthrough?
It's all about data-driven planning, understanding the real patterns.
Yeah.
This task lets users download historical wildfire incidents, including prescribed burns, importantly, and then run geospatial tools
I find what?
to find statistically significant incident cluster points, essentially identifying the actual hotbeds where fires repeatedly flare up, not just random spots.
So not just guessing, but actual data showing where the problems are.
Exactly. This capability enables science-based planning for future mitigation, things like prescribed burns based on real historical fire data. The breakthrough is turning past devastation into a predictive blueprint. You can strategically pre-burn in safe zones, reshape the environment almost, outsmart future fires.
That's fascinating. The solution also helps with defensible space. Why is this critical for communities at risk?
While many states regulate defensible space, it's that cleared area around a structure meant to reduce fire risk. This solution helps agencies comply by using AI to determine the amount of tree canopy within, say, a 30-foot buffer around structures.
So it flags properties that need work.
Precisely. It allows them to quickly identify homes, maybe visualized as red areas on a map if they have lots of trees nearby that might need assistance, or just education on clearing vegetation, making their properties safer.
It's proactive intervention based on data.
That's the key, proactive.
So with all this crucial data gathered and analyzed, what's the final step? How do you make it truly actionable for firefighters and planners in the field?
Yeah, that's the crucial bridge. All this analyzed data, the history, the clusters, the WUI data gets published to the web. This allows firefighters who are actually in charge of mitigation to plan new mitigation areas effectively.
Okay, so they can see it visually.
Yes, and they can even access predefined infographics about the community makeup within a proposed zone. Details like the age of housing, high-risk occupancies, whether properties are renter or mobile homes, even the types of industries present.
Giving them the full context.
A full picture of the community they're protecting.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And beyond wildfire, you mentioned Estri also has other solutions, like for floods.
Right. Flood impact analysis is another one. It helps map flood-prone areas and identify assets at risk. And there's damage assessment for creating those FEMA-compliant reports on residential and government properties after an event. Streamlines that whole process.
Makes sense.
And we can't forget the road closure solution. That's a key public safety tool. Communities like Fort Collins, Larimer County, Loveland in Colorado use it to share planned closures visually.
How does that get to the public?
What's truly remarkable here is the integration. It feeds directly into common navigation apps like TomTom and Apple Maps.
Oh, wow. So citizens see real-time updates right on their phones.
Exactly. Direct data sharing to the public's navigation tools. Everyone gets the most up-to-date information automatically.
Okay, so that covers a lot of the strategic planning side. But let's shift gears. Beyond that planning, there's the intense, real-time chaos of an emergency itself. How do we ensure the responders and their critical equipment are always connected and ready, even when everything else goes offline? This brings us to the operational side, fleets and communication. What are the big challenges here when an emergency strikes?
Yeah, the webinar really highlighted several common but absolutely critical challenges for government fleets during emergencies. First, real-time data. It's often fragmented, stuck in different systems, siloed.
Right.
Then there's maintenance readiness. Fleets need to be operational 24/7, but equipment failures happen. And they can be catastrophic during a crisis.
Especially then.
Definitely. Safety is another huge concern, monitoring crews and drivers in really high-stress conditions. And finally, event reporting. It can be slow, prone to errors, especially when you need it for critical funding and those FEMA reimbursements.
So many potential points of failure.
Exactly. Which raises the question, given these hurdles, how do you truly build resilient fleets? Fleets capable of operating effectively when it matters most.
So how does Samsara approach that? Building resilient fleets. What are the key strategies involved?
They outlined 3 essential best practices. Pretty straightforward but crucial. First, leveraging fleet technology. Getting that real-time data, instant alerts for safety events, comprehensive reports.
Using the tech they have.
Right. And Samsara uses AI here too to detect fault codes, identify vehicle risk, essentially providing mechanics with actionable insights before a breakdown happens.
Predictive maintenance.
Exactly. Second, maintaining regular maintenance. Seems obvious, but scheduled inspections, stocking essential supplies, ensuring equipment is always ready, diligence pays off. And third, conducting disaster preparedness drills or simulations.
Practice makes perfect.
Well, it certainly helps. This involves training drivers, providing resources, and using tools like Samsara's new weather intelligence and Street Sense. That provides public alerts and precise weather forecasting so you can simulate scenarios and identify operational gaps before a real event hits.
Let's make it concrete. You mentioned Monroe County. What did this approach mean for a real community facing hurricanes?
Right, Monroe County, down in the southern U.S., they face hurricanes frequently. They were really struggling with manual tracking and delayed FEMA reporting for their 60-plus emergency power generators and their fleet vehicles. Lots to keep track of manually.
I can imagine.
After implementing Samsara Asset and Vehicle Gateways, these are essentially smart black boxes for their equipment, they saw remarkable results.
Such as?
A 50% improvement in emergency response times, a 25% reduction in generator maintenance time, which is vital for keeping critical facilities powered during outages,
Huge impact.
and faster, more accurate FEMA reimbursements, thanks to having clear digital audit trails. No more paper chasing. What Monroe County really demonstrates is the transformative power of integrating these technologies. It unlocks a new level of municipal agility and transparency when every second counts.
Okay. Agility, transparency, better response. But it sounds like having the right data is only half the battle. That data needs to get there, which brings us squarely to connectivity.
Exactly. Connectivity is, well, it's non-negotiable in emergency response, full stop. CompassCom, another expert source, really emphasizes that data is the core asset, and real-time GIS and location are key to using that asset. The fundamental challenge, though, is getting all those diverse data sources, 9/11, CAD systems, GIS layers, to play together seamlessly.
The interoperability.
Yes, in secure and interoperable systems. It's not just about collecting data, but ensuring it flows freely and securely between everyone who needs it.
And that includes critical interoperable communications across all agencies involved, right? Fire, police, works.
Absolutely. It's vital to have a single, common operational picture, a COPIO. That single picture needs to track everything. Vehicles, individual staff carrying radios or cell phones, aircraft, drones, marine equipment.
Even heavy equipment.
Yes, even heavy equipment like bulldozers used in wildland fires. This common operational picture isn't just a map. Think of it like a real-time, unified digital dashboard for everyone involved in the response.
So everyone sees the same thing at the same time.
Precisely. Imagine eliminating all those frantic phone calls asking, "Where are you?" or "What's happening there?"
Yeah.
Because everyone sees the exact same up-to-the-second view. This allows for truly coordinated response across multiple broadband and mobile radio networks.
Well, what happens when those networks go down? That's the real connectivity challenge during a major disaster. Power's out, cell towers are down, what then?
That's where resilience planning is absolutely critical. There's a need for redundant systems that could be on-premise servers or hybrid systems that can operate disconnected offline and then sync up automatically when they reconnect.
Like Survey 123 in a hurricane zone you mentioned earlier.
Exactly like that. Infrastructure failure scenarios must be planned for. Power outages require generators or solar backup. Wireline internet and 9/11 failures can sometimes be mitigated by satellite solutions like Starlink. And broadband cellular outages just highlight the absolute need for alternative communication methods. You need backups for your backups.
So when everything else is failing, what's often the most resilient communication lifeline during a disaster?
Often it's P25 land mobile radio, or LMR, traditional radio. Its resilience for public safety is proven. Agencies like the Illinois DOT rely on LMR across the entire state for their operations. There was a Florida county, for example, that saw their LMR system back up within just 12 hours after Hurricane Ian hit hard.
12 hours is pretty fast recovery.
It is, compared to other systems sometimes. And some agencies even rely on self-contained point-to-point radio systems when everything else fails, like Chief Jimmy Isaac in Boone, North Carolina. He depended on basic Motorola radio-to-radio communication for days after a major storm took everything else out.
Back to basics when necessary.
Sometimes you have to be.
And then there's FirstNet. We heard about that connection earlier with Samsara. How does that fit into the resilience picture?
Right, FirstNet. It was built with AT&T specifically for public safety. It provides prioritized and highly secured connectivity just for first responders.
So their calls get through when commercial networks are overloaded?
Exactly. It ensures their communications don't get bogged down by all the commercial traffic during an emergency. And Samsara's VG55 vehicle gateway, that smart black box for vehicles, is FirstNet trusted. That means it's specifically designed to leverage that prioritized network. It optimizes routes, feeds crucial vehicle data back, even in remote areas.
Any examples of that in action?
Yeah, the State Fish and Wildlife Enforcement Agency uses FirstNet combined with Samsara. It gives them enhanced connectivity, better situational awareness, and smoother interagency collaboration, particularly crucial in remote areas where standard cell coverage can be spotty or non-existent.
Okay, let's bring it all together now. We've talked GIS, fleet tech, connectivity. Give us a powerful example of real-world integration where all these pieces come together. Fort Lauderdale.
Yes, the city of Fort Lauderdale is a great example. They manage over 1,700 vehicles, a huge fleet. They integrated Samsara's vehicle gateways and environmental monitors directly with their Esri ArcGIS platform.
Connecting the vehicles to the map, essentially.
Precisely. This allowed city officials to visualize all their vehicles, snowplows, fire trucks, utility trucks, you name it, on a single GIS board. One view. They could set up geofences for rapid response to flooding, designate no-go zones, track debris locations, and monitor cleanup vehicles in real time.
What were the results?
Pretty significant. A
And
28% reduction in vehicle downtime, faster storm cleanup operations, and better citizen communication because they had precise real-time data to share about progress and road status. It's really a prime example of how seamless integration can transform potentially chaotic events into managed, efficient operations.
And you mentioned CompassCom adds another layer too, tracking different types of devices.
That's right. CompassCom offers a unique capability, tracking both LMR radios and smartphone tactical awareness kit, or TAC devices, on the very same common operational picture. That's critical for a truly unified response, bringing data from traditional radios and modern smartphones into one view for command staff.
Wow. That was an incredible dive. We've covered so much ground looking at how GIS, fleet management, and that unbreakable connectivity are really reshaping emergency response. We've seen how integrating these systems moves us from, reactive chaos towards proactive, data-driven preparedness, ultimately saving lives and resources.
And to reiterate that core message, GIS really drives every phase of emergency management, from the initial planning and preparedness right through response and recovery. And connectivity, as we said, is non-negotiable. Building resilient, interoperable systems is absolutely paramount, even when facing widespread infrastructure failure.
So what does all this mean for you listening? Consider the implications of artificial intelligence in this space. While AI is clearly a game changer, speeding up critical tasks like damage assessments, turning weeks into hours like we saw in the LA fires example, and providing those data-driven recommendations. It's fascinating to think about where the line should be drawn. Where do we draw the line between AI's recommendations and essential human decision-making, especially in the highest stakes moments of an emergency response? It really leads us to ask, how can we continue to leverage AI's incredible power while ensuring that human expertise, that gut instinct, remains firmly at the helm of critical operations? Something to think about.